Are live. Good evening,
What's up,
internet
everybody?
proudest ones. We're going to discuss Civil War tonight with Mr. Reed, Mr. McMurray, Mr. Fry, and a bunch of historians that we're not going to tell you who they are, and they'll be on shortly to discuss this with us. So, everybody knows that we've been playing GCACW, right?
Yes.
Because we haven't posted anything in such a while, but we're back on it now. We're all excited about it. So we're going to take a little time tonight to talk about our most recent play, maybe what we finished up already, and probably what we're about to start. And a little different approach than everybody else's, but we'll get back to that here right after a word from our sponsors. All right, we are back. We have to mute McMurray's microphone when we do that because he likes to let a big rebel yell.
I did not realize we had sponsors. I feel like I'm getting gypped now.
Paul, good evening. Chucky, evening. Chris Long, how you doing? Slav, what's up, buddy? Nord. I know that there's a couple other people streaming tonight, but maybe some people will pass over this way here soon. So we finished. Todd and I have been playing. We started like I think 17 years ago playing Great Campaigns in the American Civil War, and we managed to finish the 5 scenarios of All Green Alike from Stonewall Jackson's Way too. And now we've moved on to Richmond too. We're trying to play in chronological order now. Everybody knows Patrick and Roger Kittleson. Patrick Pence and Roger Kittleson. They do their thing, and they play against each other, and then they flip flop sides, and they play the same scenario again. And now we got Doug from Tabletop's Edge. He's getting ready to start a big campaign project that he even says it'll take years to play. And
that's a big,
no doubt.
That's a big project.
That's a massive undertaking of all the games. So we were discussing tonight, how can we be different? And Todd and I, we like the co-op stuff. And it's kind of fun because we can bounce our strategies off each other and discussing, how we want to approach something from both sides. And since none of this stuff is hidden movement or anything, it's not like it matters anyhow. We can't not see what the other side's doing. If you play these things on tabletop, it's the same way. So we thought we would just continue with our co-op process, and we came back to playing and finished up our final All Green Alike scenario, which Todd put up on a cell phone review, looking at his computer monitor. That worked out actually pretty good, I thought. And we moved on to Richmond. And when we played the first scenario on to Richmond, we weren't going to play that night. And then we got on just to look at the setup and talk about it. Next thing we're playing, and we finished the whole game in one sitting, in one night. So we're chugging along a lot faster. I'm sure we're missing a couple things, but we're I think we're already getting better. And so I wish we could sit and tell you, everybody, look, here's a regular day. We're going to do this. It's just impossible with our schedules, the way things work. So, but we are going to try to do the best we can because we do have a lot of fun playing, and we want to try. We want to try to get it and do it live, and that's our plan, is to start doing it live so everybody can see what's going on. And maybe we can drag Patrick in here with us, because I know he said he'd be more than happy to come back. So, all right. So we're going to talk about the first scenario that we played and on to Richmond too, and I'm going to flip it over to Toddy here and bring up his screen.
Here's a real quick question. I think let's address this real quick. Charles is asking, which of the original Avalon Hill games, GCACW, should I try first before failing? I guess. I guess we need to know what you have.
I mean, Stonewall, any one of the originals, but I mean, if you wanted to start Stonewall in the Valley or Stonewall Jackson's Way from the first.
I mean, as far as, well, I have very limited experience playing them, but I think any of them will work as beginners, right? I mean, they all have the small scenarios.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty much the same game.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Chuck, give it a try. I like those old maps. I think they look nice.
Yeah, Chuck likes the Library of Napoleonics. So this should fit him just fine.
Real quick, Miroslav, I'm curious, That's interesting. That Zucker's Napoleon shindig. What is that? You can't post links, but what is that? I'm curious.
Are they
Okay,
doing this in Gettysburg?
for the Napoleon thing. What's up, Mark?
Mark?
All right, so let's get this going here. Let's add that to the screen. And let me take Marisol there. So yeah, we'll try to look at the comments here as we're going. So let me, it's kind of hard to zoom in because it's kind of all here. So Jeff, you probably Jeff, you understand the kind of the where it plays in the war type and that kind of, why don't you cover that and then we'll cover what the scenario does.
All right, so on Richmond 2, of course, it covers the Peninsula Campaign, which includes the 7 days in 1862 when McClellan landed on the peninsula and was going to drive on Richmond. And of course, we all know how that turned out. Made the war last for 4 more years when it probably could have ended right there. And it also covers the late war stuff, wilderness and things like that, when Grant is in charge in Petersburg and all that Appomattox eventually. So we decided, we finished the initial games in Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 out in the valley, Jackson's operations. And now we moved on to 1862, where McClellan has landed and he's moving up the peninsula. And the first thing he's got to deal with is the Magruder line, with Magruder on the Warwick Line.
Oh, hey, Papa.
Which is pretty much Yorktown. Now, the reality of this is that this first scenario, this fight never happened. And eventually Johnston would pull off the line and back towards Richmond. But we looked at this, I could understand why McClellan wouldn't have done this anyhow, because look at that. That's what a just disastrous effort that could have been against that defensive line, even though they weren't very strong. McClellan outnumbered, I think it was it 3.5 to 1 or something like that?
Something like it.
He always believed he was outnumbered. So I'm going to let Todd run down that. Todd, why don't you run down that map right there with that defensive line and what they're looking at?
All right, so so what we're looking at is here's Yorktown. I can't really zoom in much more than this because we'll lose all the pieces here. But up here's Yorktown, and then they occupy. This is not the White House, but White House. And then we got a bunch of redoubts. So for Jeff and I, this was the first time. Well, I don't know, Jeff, if this is your first time, but together, this is our first time experiencing redoubts. It's our first time experiencing siege guns and artillery pieces, actual pieces that have artillery. Anyway, so there's a bunch of things here. This big river, that's their defensive line with redoubts. And there's 2 spots here. Well, actually, really 1, but with a redoubt, but only a creek. So that was a way you could attack across this creek, here or here. And then these rivers, you have to cross with these bridges. And then I'm going to bring up with the defensive positions. The cool thing about this one is another different thing. So this is the cool thing about it. Every scenario introduces different things, and they're all, this is really meant to be played as a campaign game. So the scenarios are great, kind of learning grounds about the rules and then introducing different things. And so this is very different than the one we just played with All Green Alike in a couple of things. We had the individual artillery counters and like, they're reinforcements. So we'll see those later. And we have units that have 17, 18, and 21. Yeah.
They were massive.
Porter has 21 there. So that is like,
yeah. Remember what we thought when we first saw that? We're like, my God, they're just going to crush.
Yeah. Well, a cool thing about GCACW is that when you have 2 units fighting with 7 strength, and what do they, gosh, Jeff, do you remember? Or is it 100 guys or something? Or
you know what? I can't remember.
Strength point. But, that strength point in a lot of Civil War, a lot of war games, it stands for kind of a number of people, some range. The most we'd had is probably 7 or 8. Well, the cool thing is when you go into battle with 21 versus 7, for example, you might get a great roll as, the Union with 21, and you might beat the Confederates, and they lose a couple, but they might even just lose 1, but have to rout. But then the Union will lose 3 guys because you're sending in more people, so you lose more people. So I kind of think that's an interesting. I really like that.
Right, and it seems to be more prevalent on the defender. It seems to be more prevalent or benefit wise to the defender most of the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which makes sense, right? Because they're hunkered down, but they're not running out there in the open or whatever. A couple other things that are different. So we have much higher artillery factors. I know 4 is not a lot, but 4 is a lot because most of the time we have 1, or usually we don't even use it. I mean, we've never really had too many modifiers for that. So that's a big difference. So and the other last thing, I'll just start showing the pieces. I feel like I'm just rambling here, but this is what I knew this call would be. We had a variable setup, which I don't remember having that really in the other scenarios, but we could basically position all these units here where we thought was best. And
we have 5 units that we could position, including cavalry.
That cavalry, and we placed them there, hoping to slow down the guys coming up, around here. Which they do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cursor through, and you'll see the parts and pieces start moving, and we'll just kind of talk through it. This is where.
Yeah, well, let's talk about before you do this. So the objective of this scenario was McClellan needed to push through these forward defenses, and of course, obviously, anybody that's played GCACW on Vassal, the red circled areas are victory locations that are worth points. And what did we say? Yorktown was worth 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And the redoubts were each worth 2, I believe.
Yeah, pretty small.
And then what was that back one?
This is worth 6, and the halfway house was worth 8.
Right, and then there was points for casualties, which is always the killer when we seem to play.
Yeah, so you get only the Union can earn points, so they get points for destroying strength points, Confederate strength points, but then they get subtracted if they lose. Strength points, which makes sense. Again, you want to conserve your forces and all that business. So anyway,
brings up a good point about fatigue. Fatigue does. Todd and I really, that's probably one of the biggest things when we're playing that before we do anything with any unit, that we try to consider, okay, what's going to happen when we hit that end of turn button with the units, and are we going to be able to put together, especially for the attacker, are we going to be able to put together an attack on the next turn? And you're going to understand that here as we go through this.
Yep. So that's really the thing. You want to push into here. You want to take Yorktown. You want to take these points, and then the Confederates get some optional reinforcements. I'm excited about going anyway. So I think that's enough about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and let's see if I can remember how to do it here. I think it's control. Let me start seeing what happens. Nope, wasn't it. Nope, that wasn't it at all. Let me just try a couple of things here, everybody.
Yes, Chuck, Thunder on the Mississippi is the most recent one. All I did was clip that. I haven't really looked at it yet. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Like I say, we want to try to do these chronologically, so that's our plan.
So you're going to see a bunch of things like this, just Jeff and I talking about. So you can do this logging of your games in Vassal. So there we go. Porter starts moving there. We don't always do the fatigue in the right order, but we get it. But
okay, now let's stop right there on that one right there for a second. So I think Porter, I rolled a 6 on my first roll for movement.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And what was the special rule here? So we activated McClellan. No, not McClellan. Heinzelman underneath him.
Oh,
and there was a dice roll rule about how many units could be activated. And there's a chart.
Yep.
And he could only activate. He rolled a 6, so he was able to activate, I think, 3.
It's based on the initiative roll. So
right.
you rolled a 5 and versus a 1. So go ahead.
Right. Okay. So we decided, okay, well, we stuck the 3rd Virginia Cavalry out there to try to maybe delay the first unit by using a cavalry retreat. Now, just for those of you that if you played this, you're going to know this. If you haven't, we're going to give you a little rules thing right here. Porter's on a road, and the 3rd Virginia Cavalry's on a road, but there's woods between them, and there's no road cutting across those hexes between them. So Porter does not have to stop in that hex he's in. If that had been open terrain, he would have had to stop, and it would be a zone of control issues. But we continued moving with him. And then when he got to that hex right there, we decided, okay, do we want to cause any slowdown to Porter to kill those movement points? And I think we did. So whenever something gets adjacent to them or decides they're going to attack them or is adjacent to them at the start of the movement like that, it's in the rule book. There's like 3 or 4 little bullets. It says cavalry can conduct a retreat. And there's the possibility that you use a chart depending on the size of your cavalry, which there's a special rule for this one for Confederate cavalry, that the small force benefit thing in this one here.
Yeah.
They might get punished by retreating. Now, we talk about this all the time. I know of no other game ever that I've played, any of them, even the tactical level ones, where somebody has set up. Well, no, I've got one other game that's pretty good with it, where cavalry, somebody actually put it into a game and made it a useful tool. And this series is it. So, all right, so go ahead and go on. We chose to do to slow Porter down because he's a large unit.
Yeah, because otherwise we have to stop and we can't move any further. So if we get them out of the way, we might be able to move. We'll be able to move a couple more pieces unless our turn ends. So that I would say, so in my playing experience, I think this and BCS do cavalry well. And I know it's a different thing, obviously, but
BCS, yeah, very good.
They do screening, which I found, and again, I don't totally understand how it works, but I thought it was pretty clever the way that did. Okay, so moving on here. Let me actually do some on my computer here to make us see. Okay, so then
okay, so we must not have done it.
We meant to move the leaders with them. We'd forgotten to do that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see some weird things out of order, people. We're not telling you these are all done 100% by the rule. So we pushed them away, and they had to run back and all that. So I don't type the results, so I don't really know. So then
they can retreat 4 to 6 hexes.
That fatigues them. There are 4 levels of fatigue, which is pretty cool. So they're fat 1. And the reason that matters is so once you get to 4, you can't do anything else. But then that's going to impact when you go to the new turn and they what's the term, Jeff, in the sequence of play it's not recover. Yeah, recovery. It is recovery. So you'll see that when we change turns. All right, let's get going here. So he has some moves left, and then this is going to be all he's going to be able to do. So and you move 1 piece at a time. Can you move stacks or no? No,
you got to move 1. And look what happened to the cavalry after they retreated.
Yeah, so there's a little green.
They disorganized.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they had to. So it's probably a rout, I'm guessing.
Well, they probably screen maybe a light skirmish to slow down the infantry to make them deploy.
Yeah,
and they got disorganized in their retreat away from it. So they did their job. The disorganized is automatic, but there's also the potential that they could lose strength, which we've learned our lesson with.
So Hamilton is stuck here because another cool thing about GCACW is the number of strength points, manpower points in a hex impact how you can move through, how much it costs to move through it, and it was going to cost too much. I think it's +3 or 2 or something. So I think Hamilton's stuck there. So you know what, Jeff? I'll just keep clicking through here. So now we're kind of counting, making sure we're doing things right.
Yeah,
so we can see we fatigue. Okay, so then again, another thing about GCACW, maybe everyone knows this. That after each activation, after each thing, so after Heinzelman's activation, then you roll for initiative again. It looks like you can pass it, but it looks like the Confederates won. Rhodes has moved in there now to make that line without a gap.
And also, you'll notice Early and Colston, we brought them in as reinforcements. There's a dice roll that you make at the start of every turn for the Confederates to bring in reinforcements. And we got lucky on the first turn, and Early and Colston both arrived.
Yep. And Early and Wilcox were able to move up because they kept winning initiative here.
Or Wilcox, I'm sorry.
Hamilton goes around so that he can maybe get around 2 sides of Yorktown.
Yeah, because we wanted to go after the biggest VP.
Oh, okay. So we changed our mind.
Oh yeah,
and we moved him in here because of the way attacking and assaulting works. Okay, you can see everyone fatigued out now. Is this where this is where I wish we made notes on here, Jeff. We can know this is where we're doing an assault. I bet we do.
Did we assault there or? did we? Yeah, because we had them. Their strengths were, or their fatigues weren't real bad.
Yeah, so let's look where we are. So someone just so this Hamilton is orange, meaning he's only got one activation left. I think this is the one, Jeff, where we rolled and I rolled a 6. No, you actually rolled a 6.
Oh, yeah.
So
So you have 3 types of combat in this game. You can do it on the move, you can do an assault, and beyond an assault, you can attempt to do a grand assault if you have an army or a district leader, which McClellan is an army leader. That's really the only purpose he's going to serve in this game.
just like everything in this game, go watch the player's aid and you'll see what we're talking about. But you roll for everything. You roll if you're going to get, so we rolled to see if we can get an assault in, and you roll a 6 and you don't. So Heinzelman had these big plans. Who knows? He got tired and he didn't want to. So whatever. There's so much variability in this game, which one reason I love it. I love the friction and variability. So now you can see that we got Smith moving here down south. Keys should have moved with them. There's some things we do a little out of order, but we keep it legit. Sedgwick's starting to move up so he can support a future action here.
Now Sedgwick is attached to Heinzelman for this scenario because Sedgwick is from a different corps.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to answer.
I'm about to say, you guys got a couple questions from Nord, and
I think it's fine because, and then I think what's the limit? Is it 3 consecutives and then it flips?
Oh gosh, I forgot about that rule.
I can't remember.
You might.
I think it's fine. There's your fog of war right there. That's all you really need. It's the only fog of war you need.
Yeah, and then that a lot of people think that too, which is I get it.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. I could understand the initial initiative, and some of them do. Some of the scenarios start like that, where hey, no, he has the initiative.
Yeah,
didn't we play one where the Confederates had like the first 3 moves or something like that? Or
yeah, no, it can be. I think one reason it's less frustrating for me is because we're playing together. You know, if you had some big plan, you're trying to do stuff, I could see it being frustrating, but it's just kind of the nature of the game, and the dice equal out, I think. And I don't know,
right.
But I get it. It's kind of like people in Combat Commander. Some people just they don't like all the stuff with the cards. I get it. I mean, it's just not everyone's cup of tea, but man, I sure love it. So,
wait, you sure love Combat Commander?
I do like Combat Commander, actually. So did we move Wilcox in? It didn't look like
sorry.
it. No, I love it.
Remember, I moved Wilcox around to try to get him into Yorktown, but he didn't have enough movement points.
Yeah. Keys is moving up. I think initially I thought Keys should attack McLaws early or something, but I was like, no way, man. They are not going to cross. Attacking across the bridge, across the river, across a redoubt. I mean, it was like, you'll see later. We try it. It fails.
Once we get everybody moved up, we'll be able to zoom on the map. Now, the one thing as we were playing this, we found 0 use for was the Union cavalry.
Oh, I need to open up here. Let me see. Yeah, no, we kind of, I think it would help again if we kind of made a breakthrough or something. I'm going to pull up the turn chart here. Yeah, so right here are the the Union reinforcements. The Confederate reinforcements were random, and I don't know why they weren't. We were not sure they weren't. It's only a 3-turn scenario. 6, 7, 5, 6, 7th. So the all this artillery stuff come in later.
It would provide a benefit too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Okay, continue.
All right, so we got everybody almost to where we wanted. I think did Couch close with Keys?
Yeah.
All right, and then I think did we find ourselves here at a impasse where we couldn't really, because we were going to just fatigue the hell out of everybody, or did we?
Yeah, let's see what happens on the next roll here. 5-1. So we moved the cavalry up because we're like, I don't know. Keep those guys honest. I mean, they're not going to cross the river. Why would you leave that defensive line?
Yeah, Michael, you're right. We we did find that there's really not much of a plus or minus to it. Most time it's a no effect. But we did actually have a couple in this one where we had some +2s and +1s.
For what?
Artillery.
Yeah, it made a difference in one of our battles for sure. But yeah, I can oftentimes not. So a 5 is rolled. So we're just reinforcing the line, man.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we are now moving into new turn start, turn 2. So yeah. Oh, let me back up. So you see how everyone's marked. Look at all the 18, 2, 3, 21, 2, 4, that all the colors there. So then when you hit it, it's great. I mean, in this module, you just click a button for daytime or rain, recovery, and then it goes bloop. So now all those things come off, but now you'll see Hamilton is flipped over. He's now exhausted because he was at a 3. If they're at a 3 or higher, they become exhausted, and then they get to take 3 fatigue level off, which is, again, super cool and really something you have to consider kind of for the short scenarios, but those are really going to be, you really imagine the campaigns when you're like, I need these guys to be good in 4 or 5 days. So then you really got to think that through. The recoveries, that's something you actually don't roll for. There's probably some rolling, but we haven't come across that. You just
Percy, I don't know of any Civil War games where the cavalry is punishing to troops, but they do. The screening ability that they have in this game is excellent. It's well done. It's well ruled. So it works really. You don't really get your cavalry into too many fights in this game. I mean, at least we haven't hit one yet where that happens. So, but they are very, very good at delaying advancing forces.
Look at that.
Oh, nice. Now we can see what's going on. This is where we operated pretty much for the rest of the game.
Yeah, no, this is where we'll be. So, okay. So here I go. Now I do this and then we'll move down the map because we're going to enter the reinforcements here, maybe. But we'll worry about them coming up. So we get like 2 artillery units, which we've never had before. All right, so the guys under McClellan are going green. This tells me that we're going to assault. Yeah. Man, and we get a 5, so that means limited. So yeah, I need to type notes in these so I can remember what we did here. Well, you can see everyone's kind of fatiguing out, which tells me nothing's happening. USA.
Oh yeah, because we had back-to-back assaults because you rolled a 6 too, right?
I sure did. And
right,
so
now, so that everybody understands when we talked about the 3 forms of combat, we never did a combat on the march in this game. We did assaults. So when you do assaults, you're not burning movement points. What you're doing is you're using, so you've got Heinzelman in that stack right there. So you execute your assault from that hex with Heinzelman, and Heinzelman will determine how many units in that hex you can name. Okay, we're going to use both units in this hex, both Porter and Hamilton, and then you're going to roll a command dice against Heinzelman's command value, which is a 4. So if Heinzelman rolls a 1 against his command value of a 4, if there's no modifiers, then he can activate 3 units in that hex. Or I'm sorry, 3 units will be successfully part of the attack. He only had 2, so we said, okay, we're using both these units. So you fatigue them, and then you roll the command dice against Heinzelman's value. And
we rolled a 5.
So that 5, since it wasn't a 6, which would terminate the assault immediately, the 5, you can still activate 1 unit. So I think we chose Porter, which we fatigued him all the way out to 4.
Yeah, basically it's 5 minus 4.
Right. And then, because you've got McClellan there, now you can use McClellan to do a grand assault, and you roll against McClellan's command value. And if McClellan rolls he's a 4. So if he rolls a 1, McClellan can activate all the forces into 3 adjacent hexes for the combat. So we only had Sedgwick, so we would be rolling for Sedgwick to join in the grand assault. Go ahead. Let's see what happens with you.
I might have said one of those things wrong, but again, so the USA lost 1 that already happened. So nothing happened to the Confederates, because oftentimes the Confederate, you take some fatigue when you're in a battle, which I think is awesome. Now we can actually keep this up here, and I can put this up here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Although, just real quick, I've been playing some ASL using a Vassal, and it's pretty cool. they have buttons for each type of roll, which is kind of cool. So like if you're making an IFT roll or something, so it'd be kind of cool because it tells you as you're going through this. So anyway, and then USA losses a 1 again. Oh no, we lost. Oh, why did I move it up too? That's interesting. Yep. So USA just losing people. So this is great. We must have. I think we lost. It says losses 1, but I think we lost 3. Fantastic, unless I counted wrong. And you can see it's happening again. We try again. And then, oh yeah, Keys is doing it. Oh yeah, Keys is what lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just doing great.
Yeah, we struggled with our first.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
So
Keys tried to do an assault there, and he only got to activate Smith.
yep, and then took
And
losses.
you have to attack. You have to attack once you claim it.
And then he disorganized. Is that right? Disorganized is the term.
Yeah, he flipped to his red side. Yeah.
So look at that. 1 activation. He went fatigue 4, disorganized. He's done. So there'll be consequences when you recover. Love it. I love this stuff, man. There are a few times when we're playing, I'm like, I love this stuff.
Yes, it is. It is, Nord. Bob's leaving.
Oh, here. Oh, I see him. Here they come.
Here comes Sykes. Now, this was an oddball because he wasn't attached to anybody. So he either had to work on his own or McClellan could use him in a grand assault.
Yeah, if you see stuff bouncing around, we're just trying to figure out how to get people where they need to be. Probably not legal if we're playing in a big tournament. So this is our first horse artillery. We're pretty excited about that. It's pretty cool. So you roll for movement. Did we say that? But that's pretty cool too. So you can get up to 6 down to 1, but you gotta get a minimum of 2 movement. Confederates get a +1 if you use a commander to command them. There's another artillery or we got all this. Look at all this cavalry. We're like, come on, man, guys, get off your horses and get up there and help us fight. So we got Sykes moving in. So I don't know the Civil War as well. I mean, so you say like Magruder and Andrew and Jeff can come. Oh yeah, they can tell all kinds of stories about all these guys. I love that their pictures are on them, and that they're actually photos. And then I like that all the commanders are named too, and that just all. I think this is one reason the Civil War is so fascinating. You know, oh yeah, Sedgwick, and you can tell the story. Like you don't know that in World War II. You have to dig in. Like I don't know who led the 3rd Company or the 5th Regiment. You'd have to kind of dig in. So it's kind of a different kind of reasons for all that. But comes an artillery with 6. Look at that. We're like, oh yeah, we're pumped, baby. Another 6. Yeah, let's bombard. But you can see they're really fatiguing out. And so we're being very conscious of that. I hope we don't see them go red because we're like, well, we don't want them. We really shouldn't have got them exhausted. But,
and you can see what we're trying to do up there. We're trying to get as massive force as we can.
I mean, it seemed very obvious.
Yeah. And we had a discussion too, right about this point here about the number of units we had in a stack because Heinzelman would initiate. You have to have McClellan there, or there's no way you're going to get all those units into combat. So a cool rule about a grand assault was so that stack right there. Let's say that Heinzelman's going to activate. Well, he's only got a command value of 4. There's no way he's going to activate all 4 of his units, which are the ones with the blue background. So we would pick like 1 unit and 1 artillery unit and hope that Heinzelman could activate those 2 with maybe a roll of 1 or 2, which we did one time.
Yep.
And then we would use McClellan to do when he would do the grand assault. If he was successful, and let's say he could activate 2 hexes on a grand assault, he could activate those other units in that same stack where Heinzelman is as part of the grand assault. So that's the only way you would be able to get all 4 of them from that hex.
But what was happening to Jeff and I, even with that, we'd be like, oh, okay, I want Porter and Art Res 2 to go. Well, then he gets a 1. So you're like, well, I guess I'm going with Porter. And then McClellan, I don't know if it happens on this one, but then McClellan rolls for grand assault. Like, oh, we got it. Well, that Art Res 2 is out because he, which just bugs me, but it's awesome. It bugs me in a way that I get all excited. All right, here we go. New turn. Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. We epically failed.
Yeah.
With the Yankees.
I don't know if you guys can see, but we didn't do anything. And then we're like, maybe we should change what we attack. It was at this point USA losses were at 6. They needed 7 to get a minimal victory. Like their least number of points they needed was 7. We're at a -6 right now. We're like, okay, game's done, but let's keep playing because
it changes on this last turn.
I mean, I know it's only 3 turns, but Jeff and I were able to talk through. Well, no, I don't know if we talked through it, but anyway, we talked through it and played it. And Jeff wasn't even feeling great. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't want. And then we just played and we finished it up in one night. It was awesome. Got his undo. Oh, I undid a new turn start because I wanted to see things recover. So you can see these red.
Oh, and the breastworks. Let's talk about the breastworks in the.
Okay.
What's the F4? Fort.
Oh yeah. So fort. So F3 is fort, and then breastworks 1 and 2. So go ahead.
All right. So this was more like abatis and whatnot. So what Vassal will do for you is at the end of the turn in your reconciliation recovery, if a unit is 0 fatigue and he's, which means he hasn't moved, he will automatically build the first level of fortification, which in this game here would be abatis, which is marked by the B1. And then, and it's kind of deceiving because, thank God we recognized it right away, is the 1 on the B1 means that the unit's combat value is multiplied by 1. If it's got a 2, it's multiplied by 2.5.
No, I thought it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's multiplied by 2.
1.5 is the first division you do.
Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. So it's what? 1.5.
1.5. 2.
And the next one is 2.5.
And then 3.
And then fort
is 3. 3.
Oh, okay. So fort didn't have a 2 and then a.
It might, Jeff.
Fort's not a 2. So the fort 2 is a 2.5, and then fort 3 is 3.
Yeah.
The
counters in this, so they're using a lot of shortcuts in this game to make it so it's like that B1 F3. It's very obvious in the game. You have a counter that says Abati 1.5 or fort 2. You don't have to kind of do this guessing thing. We have a little guide that shows us what all these things stand for. All these boxes and squares around here. This is a game on Vassal, I think, especially the way we're playing it, is super fast on Vassal. Like I set up a scenario the last one we played on the board. It takes a lot of time to do it. It looks great. I love it. And then usually I am like pro boards. That's why I play games. I like the physical thing, but this game excels in
when you play it on the board, you've got a stack of counters on top of every unit.
Yep. It's rough. But anyway, so basically where we are, we're starting turn 3 and we are down 7 points, and we're down 6 points and we need 7. So we are 13.
We had a big discussion right here about, well, if we do this, what victory points do we get? And we were even guessing and saying, oh man, okay, so what if we get lucky and we attack here and break through, and then he has enough to do the next attack on another hex, and how many points? And we could have simply said, nope, we're never going to do this, but we didn't. And you'll understand why here in a minute. How, not going to say we accomplished what we were intending, but it did change.
So we're moving some guys down from down south up north. I think the Confederates get a couple of turns like, doggone it. Okay, here they go. I see McClellan's guys are going. They're fatiguing. I think we're going to go attack Cobb or early. Really should make notes now. We know to do that. Oh, no, we're going for Yorktown again. We thought, well, we can do it. It looks like some guys are going green on the Cedric stack there. So I think we got a grand assault in. And we roll. Look at that. Magruder. Look at that. They all go orange. And then what happens? They also you can see, I could see something flip into the card. They all disorganize. We had a good result there.
We'll get better at typing our results over time.
USA lost 1 again, so now they're -7. Because guess what? The Confederates didn't lose any. One guy fatigued out, Fat 4. We're doing it again. We got some good initiative rolls. Well, the South at some point we're just passing. It's like they were kind of set. There was nothing else they could do. Yeah. So what would happen is if the South passed and Union passed, the turn would end, the game would be over. So, and they were really, there was nothing. The only thing they could have done is refuse flanks, but they weren't able to flank them anyway. So
now I'm going to address Nord. Todd and I are both agree with you on that comment. Now there is one difference. The piece of map you're looking at right there, that's it. There's nothing else in the playing field anywhere on this map. You're only having to look at this small piece. So that's why this game, plus what the informational counters have to be stacked. That's why this game is very, very doable. Now, I don't know about a campaign game. That's going to be a different story. I got a feeling I might be on the same boat with you on that. I might not be able to see the whole thing and make good decisions. But for these scenarios like this, it's perfect.
No, I don't see. I'm assuming, yeah. I do struggle a little bit that with Vassal. I know you can zoom in and out and all that stuff. It's just harder to get that big picture. But I cannot imagine playing a campaign game in physical form, Jeff. I don't know.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It'd be an awful lot.
Not solo. I could do it with a group. I just don't think solo I would have the energy to keep that going.
Right.
So I'll just have to figure it out. Okay. So what are we doing here? So I think we're attacking the Yorktown again. Yeah. Oh, we got all the guys in. Cedric's there. All those guys going green. I love the greens. You kind of know what's going on.
Yeah. The only one that couldn't attack was that red fatigued unit underneath McClellan there. I think this was the most successful attack we had.
Yep, this is it. So you can see they're going red. They're disorganizing. Oh, demoralizing, which is a big deal because soon they demoralize, and guess what? Boom! They were routed.
Yep. And the Yanks got an advance.
Yeah, they got a little F, a little A, so they could keep going. So whoever you want to advance can. Oh, well, then they lost. So. Oh, I didn't move.
Now, notice their fatigues. So you cannot attack if you're fatigue level 4. So you'll notice there's only one unit that's still at fatigue level. That's at fatigue level 4. So now we just took 6 victory points, and did we? Oh yeah, because you were moving the thing down and up. Okay, so we caused a couple of Confederate losses, I think.
We did, but I just I just did the math. I didn't use the CSA loss.
Right.
There's probably some reason to do that in a bigger game, but here I figured it doesn't matter. So we're like, well, we pretty much have one attack. I mean, Keys can attack again. I don't know if we do that, but we're like,
yeah, we tried. But I think we went after Cobb.
Yep, here we go. We're going after Cobb. We demoralize them. Nope, not demoralize. The other D word. Big D'd them.
It's in your die roll modifiers, Nord. You just check your die roll modifiers.
Look at that. We punched them out. And I think we got an A on that one too.
Yep.
So
But look at all those units now.
But they all redded so that we were done. These guys were done. That our north side was done, but we had more losses. Now here we're like, well, let's go again. Let's see if we can get some more. But at this point, we're still -8. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're yeah, we were at 7. I don't feel like all right, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, you got us down there. We're at 1. Which is probably -1. That's why we probably should have marked it with the Confederate. What did remember that on the next one?
Game over, man. Game over, Jeff types. And that is the end of the game.
Yeah. So we failed with Keys. He wasn't able to do nothing. Or did we even try? Oh, we failed the attack.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. There was no way we were going to get, because we're actually, I think, at -1, and we had to get 7. So we needed 9 points to do that.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
And there was nothing else that McClellan could do up top. He wasn't going to help Keys because there was no multiple units down there for Keys to do anything with, and we were never going to be able to move west enough. And there was even the cavalry, because you can't take objectives with cavalry. So, and there's no way that cavalry, even against that fatigued up infantry up there, was going to do anything. So we realized right there on that spot that this was over, and we actually ripped through this thing pretty fast.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to put that in our to-do.
You guys really need to and we're getting there. You need to hear us playing this live, because our enthusiasm it's to me, it's unmitigated than anything else we do when we play games because we just have a blast. Now, I hope that we get to shoot some stuff in May when the guys are out here in West Virginia and we play some stuff. We're definitely going to shoot some videos while we're up in Gettysburg. But you can see Murray's he's more vibrant than we are when it comes to getting excited playing games. So,
I mean, yeah, maybe Jeff, I know we talk about physical, maybe you should set up a small scenario, just wherever we are. Maybe you should just set the next one up whenever it's that time,
right.
We could even just get whatever done we can.
We're getting ready to talk about our next scenario, Slav.
Yep. Yeah. Let me look real quick. I'm
He
going
was disappointed.
see if we can answer Nordic's question.
Oh, I did. I already answered him. It's just in your die roll modifiers.
Oh, yeah.
It just says you can't fatigue. I mean, you can't attack if you're fatigue level 4. But maybe there's something hidden in there that we haven't seen.
And that's the cool thing. Each box game or each campaign has different little things occasionally.
Yeah. Like how many units you can command, which we always have to ask that question. And they change them for the different, hell, even in the same box when they have different scenarios, they, you might be able to activate, like that command chart for the Union on your dice roll.
Yeah.
And I think we may have missed that. No, because we activated those units individually down below.
Most of the time they were individually. Yeah. So, it's so great. All right, let me pull up the next.
We're going to be in Gettysburg, and somebody that if you remember from when we were at Gettysburg playing games, Tour Guide Phil, he's going to meet us up at the battlefield on May 5th, and we got him for the whole day at Gettysburg. And then we're probably going to go to Antietam on Tuesday, May 6th.
Hey, all, thanks for jumping on. We got 18 with us. Just let us know who you are. You don't have to comment much. Just let us know who you are, though. So
this is hiding out there, and you haven't said nothing. Just say hello so we know who's out there, so we can say hey.
All right. So this next scenario's got a lot of stuff for Jeffy and I to figure out. Let's get rid of us. We don't need us up there. So this is basically. Oh, sorry, Nart. Got to get rid of you.
Yeah. Now this is more factual.
Yeah. So Jeff, again, go ahead and just do what little history or not.
All right. So. And I need to get into Lee's Lieutenants and read this again. So, all right. So here's this setup. I think what's it called? Johnston Retreats.
This is Johnston's Retreat.
Yeah. So they decided not to fight on the Warwick Line, which, kind of blows my mind that they didn't. Hey, Jerry, how you doing, buddy? So this is the perfect example in this setup of cavalry. You see who's down there on the Warwick Line. The cavalry. Now, the way Todd and I roll dice, we'll probably kill half of them in a cavalry retreat. But they will cause, once any of those stacks or units decide to move, that cavalry was going to get the opportunity to sort of push them online, slow them down, and then run away and eat up some of their now. And how that works is you'll roll a dice and there's charts you use. And like, let's say that the Union unit that you pick to move, or you activate a leader and he's going to activate 3 units. You roll a dice for a cavalry retreat, and you'll determine how many movement points they lose. And it's whatever you roll, it's usually half of whatever you roll. So, if you activate Casey there and he rolls a 5 to move, and then you decide with the 3rd Virginia to do a cavalry retreat and he rolls a 2, you'll cut that in half. There's charts and stuff you got to look at too, but depending on the size of the force, Casey will lose 1 movement.
So real quick, let's do a couple things. So Jeff and I kind of looked at this a little bit.
Alan, how you doing?
All right. So this is all right. So again, I like how they just every scenario's got just the little things that are introduced that are different for Jeff and I. So one, you can use amphibious movement. All these little all these little things here.
We'll get we'll get Ulan's advice on naval movement for this one.
Little docks here. You can go. Now, I think there's some limitations. I don't know. It's again, Patrick's played all these scenarios. Now he's using the older game. So I think there might be some differences, but you can do that to limited, very limited, but you can move some guys and move them up here. So what you're trying to do, the Confederates are trying to skedaddle, get out of Dodge, so to speak. And what they're trying to do is all the counties are marked off in this game for county seats and holding that sort of thing, which is pretty awesome. When you're playing campaign games, not for what we're doing, but
supply wagons too.
Yeah. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get and I'll just point those out here in just a minute. We're trying to get the supply wagon trains, into these hexes here, or this little bigger hexagon here. So there's two of them. There's some options. The Union also gets points. So that's Confederates. I'm not sure. I think Confederates get points here. Confederates get point for that, but they lose points if there are Union troops past this blue line. So it requires you then as the Confederate to fight the guys off. So you can't just run. Also, I believe, and I don't remember reading this, but watching Patrick's video, I think there are some limitations on how much how high a fatigue level you can get. And if you force march and you lose guys, it's going to hurt you. So it's putting limitation on it. I think, Jeff, I heard there's a rain turn, which, that stinks.
Oh, God.
So, and I thought he said there might be gunboats, but I don't think there are in this one. So I don't know if they changed that or maybe we just missed it. So they're basically.
Are there siege guns along the river there?
Yeah, but I don't.
Or naval guns or whatever? We know there was in Yorktown.
Not in our play area.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay. All right.
I mean, yeah.
And it doesn't matter because the loading rules were you're not going to get a whole bunch on boats and get them up there.
Well, and you're limited to how much you can do anyway. And what's cool, it's just like the rail movement, the kind of the procedure. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, basically, here's a wagon train, wagon B, and wagon A.
Yeah,
and I think that's it. And then everyone else is just hauling butt back, but with some limitations. Like you can't fatigue for them, basically, which is interesting. What else here? So it'll be fun. It'll be a very different kind of scenario that's happening here. The Stuart's going to slow him down. Basically, I see Stuart here, but then you'll want to use some of your guys here to defend some of the roads here. Maybe you keep some guys out in the redoubts to keep some of the weight of these guys back.
Yeah. Now look at we were talking about this too, the routes. There's only 2 routes through that wooded area. So, I mean, and then you figure the Union's going to come out of that wooded area, boom, right into fortifications, so to speak. There's no way around unless you're going to burn some heavy movement points trying to cross through the woods down there by Kilger's Mill or whatever. They're going to have to come right through those woods. So, I mean, it's almost as if we don't kill the cavalry, they can almost hold up this entire advance by themselves.
Oh, yeah. I think it's 5 turns. So, yeah, we when we're done with this call, Jeff and I will look at our calendars and set a date to play this. And he said calendars. It's really me that blocks it out, but
yeah, because I'm good. I'm good pretty much most nights.
If we can get 2 games in, a game a weekend, that would be awesome.
And we want to go live, guys. We want to start playing it live so we can get input. And those maybe that are trying to learn the game can maybe pick up some stuff from us, or those that are, I hope to drag Patrick on here with us to help us prod and probe some of these rules that we miss. And, we're going to work through all these things. And then eventually we're going to, we'll move on to the next level of these things. But there's so many scenarios you can play in these. And with the basic rules, outside of and they don't overweigh you with specific rules for each scenario, but there are specific rules for each scenario, and that adds more flavor to each one that you play, which is really, really cool. So
I think
the command rules and the cavalry rules, I think the assault and the combat on the move, I think these rules are so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is they'll introduce like little advanced rules in some of the scenarios. because that's some of that stuff you get to do in the campaign. You can forage off the land, you can destroy railroad stations and probably ports or whatever, build pontoon bridges, destroy bridges,
Depots.
depots. Yep, there's a lot of stuff here that like I'm not sure we've never really done strategic movement because I don't think we can. Yeah, it's usually in advance. So yeah, anyway, we are obviously enjoying it. I think you can tell that we're passionate about it. Yeah, and so I don't know if we'll go live maybe next time. Just it won't be as smooth and cool as Patrick and Roger, and certainly not as much as
But we'll get there. We will get there.
yeah, but we're not too worried about that. We just like playing it.
Plus, we're not playing against each other. We're playing co-op, so we tend to hash our options out amongst each other. And another thing Todd and I will do too is we will alternate who's doing the moves for the Confederates and the Yanks, and we'll go through some phases where the other one doesn't give any input to what the person that's doing the movements. You just let them, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun that way because I may do something and Todd be like, he can't say nothing. He'd be like, that was fucking stupid. so it's fun. Hey, turn the screen on.
So what do you want to turn it off?
No, put me on
Solo
mode for a second. Yeah. So I got these two little light readers. I found
Oh, you did find them both.
Yeah, I found both of them. So they're not very big. They're just paper. I don't even remember where. I think I actually got these in Gettysburg, to be honest with you. But some light reading, and I know Jerry mentioned on there Reed Sears's Road on to Richmond or something like that, which is I'm sure where the name comes from. So, but yeah, you figure if you just bought the new boxes, well, first off, right now, if money's tight and you wanted to get into this, just watch Consum Marketplace because everybody and their brother is dumping the Avalon Hill ones, and there's nothing wrong with having those and playing those. It's the same damn game. So if you wanted to get started, you can get those and grab it.
Nord even likes that box art better.
What's that?
I said Nord would even say the box art on the Avalon Hill games is better.
Yeah, I'm 50-50, half and half on each one.
I do like them. I thought they were pretty cool looking. Would you want to use the old rules that come in the box though, and not these new ones? Probably because
you can use the new ones. I mean, the games are the same. So
okay, I didn't know if they made changes.
Yeah, the format's the same. So yeah, you could play either one of them. But like I say, if you wanted to get into the system and you just can't afford it, because these boxes are not cheap. You can pick up. People are almost giving away their older ones. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
grab your one, and because I'm telling you, this is a very fun system. You play the scenario. Most of the scenarios are just little single map things. You don't need a whole big bunch of table space to play them. And a majority of the scenarios, are not going to have massive counter mix on the table. Some do. Like we're getting ready to get in. This is probably the biggest one we got that we're starting now. But the one after this one, when we actually start getting into the fighting of the 7 days, those are huge.
For what we've done, yeah.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit more thinking because it's going to be more turns. Here, I'll pull up the map for scenario 3. The gates of Richmond.
That's what gates of Richmond.
We got destroyed bridges. I see popping up here. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So, first of all, down here, I'm zoomed out. So these are not released. So we got all these units that aren't released. So we haven't really messed with that. All these white things are destroyed. So it goes all the way to here, to the middle of the map. Let's see how far north. Oh yeah, look at that. Pieces go. Look at that. Yeah, we are going to be needing to scroll. So here's AP Hill up here. He's kind of alone up here. Oh wow. Then we're talking into Richmond. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, yeah. And where in here is it? I don't think it's not during Johnson's retreat. It's one of these scenarios comes up here where Lee is going to be in charge, and Johnson's going to
Okay.
be gone.
Yeah,
So-
Johnson's here, so
He's going to get wounded, and he's going to be gone. And
to me, I would say that's one of the most confusing things about these games are the victory conditions, because there are so many. Now, fortunately in Vassal, it helps because they put these red markers here. But there's so many victory conditions, like it's in here and here, and then but it's awesome. But just reading it and then looking at a hard copy map, it's like, okay, I need markers. I need skittly doos, dipty doos, what do I call them? Tiddlywinks. So yeah, this will be one that I think we really need to think through. Like, okay, let's focus here. We got swamp. That's new. Oh boy, we got swamps and major rivers. Oh man, Jeff, we're done.
yeah. So what? We won our first game in the last.
I think the last scenario. It was
AGA, right?
Yeah, last scenario of AGA, we finally won as the attacker.
As the attacker, right? Yeah.
What is AGA?
All green alike.
Oh, duh.
From the Stonewall Jackson's Way 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, another thing, I mean, I've talked about this a million times. I don't need to harp on it. Everyone's harped on this a million times. I just love that Smith's store.
Yeah, we haven't even hit the 7 days battles area yet. We're not going to Ed in this next scenario, but I got a feeling it won't be long after that we start getting into I don't even see any on that map right there. There's Savage Station. At the bottom there, you got Savage Station. I know New and Old Cold Harbor show up on this map somewhere. So we won't even hit the 7 days. And yeah, well, the 7 days, the actual battles for the 7 days really don't even start till Lee takes over. So where he starts to get aggressive and, drives, and again. So I was watching Dr. Alec Guerzi or something like that. Real knowledgeable. And he describes things so thoroughly about the Civil War and stuff. And he was talking about McClellan and why he always felt that he was outnumbered. A lot of bad intel, a lot of deception, and I would imagine, I'm watching it. Slava Ovechkin just scored. He only needs 19 now. So Fair Oaks started the 7 days, Alan. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So we're fixing to hit that. We're not going to hit it in this next scenario, but it looks like we're almost there. So was Johnson in that last one you just set up?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. I would imagine that's probably where they lose him. And then he doesn't show up back in he never really shows up back in the East. He ends up in the West, and then they lose him again. I think he gets sent home, and then they bring him back towards the end of the war again, but he's of no use by then. So, and he was one of the brighter commanders, for the Confederacy overall. He was a defensive master, apparently. So, yeah, fun with this stuff, guys. Fun with this stuff. If you've got them, Johnson and wounded Fair Oaks. Awesome. So I imagine we're going to see that in the next scenario too. So having a blast with this, we really are. You'll get it when we start playing it live. You'll see what I'm talking about. Our enthusiasm when we're playing this game, especially when you roll. Damn, the Caps just tied it. They were down 4-1. You'll see it when we're playing. We might get all just jumpity about a dice roll, like when we did 2 assaults back to back and rolled 6s, both of us, and failed. Because if you roll a 6 on an assault, the assault is terminated. It ends. So you might fatigue 2 or 3 units, and then the assault doesn't even happen. And that's what happened to us playing this thing right here. So how many of y'all out there in Viewerland have actually played any of the scenarios from these games? And Michael, definitely a good point about the strength of the Army. And then I would say following Chancellorsville, the morale of the Army was at its highest then.
Yeah, appreciate y'all jumping on with us as we talk through the game. Fun stuff.
Camp, how many of these games do you have? Do you have this collection? And Tim, do you only prefer the Avalon Hill ones? I still got 2 of them left, actually. I think 3 of them left.
The thing is, in the skirmisher, we could continue using all green alike playing basic scenarios because the skirmisher had some basic scenarios in it. But I think they were later.
Later on, like maybe when, well, they have scenarios when Early was in the Valley later. And Sheridan in the Valley.
There you go, Cam.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, those y'all that just popped on here, like I say, in May, we're going to be up. McMurray and Todd here, they're going to be out here. They're going to get here probably May 2nd. And we're just going to game here in the apartment on the 3rd and the 4th. And then we're going to Gettysburg on the 5th, spend the whole day, and maybe pop over to Antietam on the 6th, since they're all within spitting distance right here. So, but we got tour guide Phil Musket, which I'll have to post his. I don't know if I posted on my website or not. I may have it, but he did. You all know Matt Atkinson, who does the videos for Gettysburg under the title of Stuff Writer. Well, Stuff Writer does a lot of people, but Stuff Writer had one within the last 6 or 7 months where Phil actually does the walkthrough up on it's up on Oak Hill, and Phil was at the Gettysburg thing 2 years ago, playing some of the games. I've got some pictures and videos of him with Stigler up there, and he also is one of the play testers on Stepping into Hell, which if you haven't pre-ordered it, get your butts over to GMT and get that game pre-ordered at the good price. And while you're there, go ahead and pre-order 3 Dog for $63. Because I'm telling you what, if you pass up on 3 Dog pre-order for $63, that game is not going to be $63 after it's released. It's going to, I'll guarantee you that box is pushing $100 easy, well over. So, and also if you don't have it and you want to get a good game to break you into GBACW, you can still jump on Stigler's game right now, Bayonets and Swords.
There it is. Get after it.
So, we're hoping that's supposed to be here before these guys get out here. And it might be the opportunity for me to sort of walk them through GBACW. Look to see a remake of The Valley. Camp. Oh, love to see a remake of The Valley. Okay, I got you. Yeah. I'm just wondering, because they have one of the skirmish magazines has Sheridan in the Valley, right? You're muted, Todd. You're muted, Todd.
Stonewall in the Valley has not been redone yet, and they're going to work on it.
Right. So, yeah, because we were playing. That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because All Green Alike is not necessarily the Valley. He goes back out to the Valley after this. So, yeah, I got it.
All Green Alike circles around first Bull Run, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
You're right, Andrew. It does. Because he's out there, but then they pull him in.
It's an Abe Lincoln quote in direct response to Irving McDowell. So I figured that's what it was. I just wasn't sure if that's how that works out in GCACW instead of BACW.
There's Stigler's game. Come on, guys. $38 P500 price. These are introductory level GBACW games.
Oh, whoops.
And then 3 Dog is on there too, $63, and that's going to be a massive because they're adding a whole bunch of stuff to that game. And not to mention, they're redoing, and I've got the test play. I've been test playing some of the Gleam of Bayonets too, and they're constantly making updates and changes to that. Yeah, so there's your 3 Dog right there. I'm telling you, don't miss the pre-order. See, it is over $100. They've reduced it to almost double. So, and $63. Why? Because it was in 1863.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
I know that's cool, isn't it?
Well, they could have done
It
it for
is.
$18.
That's why they should have done all World War One monster games for the $18 or $19 or $14.
Last
And
update,
then,
my big-
And Stepping into Hell is also on the P500 right now for GMT. That should have been. If we go to the bottom of that page, Todd, was Stepping into Hell at the bottom?
I think- oh,
Stepping into Hell. It's on pre-order right now, so
I'll look for it.
I went ahead and pre-ordered mine, even though I think I'm supposed to get one. Oh, I know, Tim. That's yeah. But I got a feeling we're going to be punished for that, no matter who. Okay, so Stigler's game is supposed to. It should be in people's hands. What's this? January, February, end of March, beginning of April. The way Stigler was talking to us the other night.
This must be another big one, man. Of course, I guess your price has gone
Yeah,
up.
this is the Wilderness. This is the one I was test playing. And let me tell you something. You want a game that's confusing? Whoa, buddy! Fighting in those woods, units getting lost, fires getting started. They account for everything. These guys don't mess around in GCACW, man. I mean, they like say if you choose to play GCACW, then you're choosing to play something that has so much depth that a lot of gamers stay away from it. So I don't like it. Alan, what do you got coming up on GBACW? What's your next one? You doing Kernstown or P Ridge? What are you doing? Good, because I know that's coming up. Yeah, Stigler's good. That's going to be a great little box. Stigler's box. And Mill Springs, I need that one because that was a February battle. Go back to that time card again, would you? I wanted to play that one last month. January. Yeah, I wanted to play it this month, January, but I didn't have it. So I'll have it for next year. Logan's Crossroad. Gorgeous maps. Gorgeous maps. And I know Stig said he's working on 7-day stuff too. Rock of Chickamauga inbound around June. I didn't jump on that one, Tim. Let's see. Greenville talks about GBACW here. Death Valley, greatest game box ever made for price, and what's in it?
What game's that?
Death Valley. GBACW, Death Valley. You still got yours, right?
Yeah.
Till he brings it to me. Have you heard from you said that the guy that won Death Valley in our drawing.
What?
The guy that won Death Valley in our drawing.
Was that Scott Rowland?
Yeah, Scott. You said he got it, right? Have you heard it? Has he said anything else or?
No, he got it. That's all.
Okay.
I'm sure he hasn't played it yet. I mean, I doubt it.
All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much a wrap for tonight.
I think so.
We'll get off here and Todd and I will set up our next date and we'll discuss whether or not we're going to do it live. Maybe we will. And if we do, I'll go ahead and post a StreamYard thing so that everybody can see it. There's Cardboard Commander.
Whoa, cardboard.
How'd yours and Jester's spiel go through tonight, buddy?
Been enjoying your weekly vlog posts. It's good. Keep it up. Cardboard and ID just played a game. Go check it out. He was live while we were live. So all kinds of live people tonight.
He got his ass kicked.
Sorry, bro. Come here for a rest. Even though
Jester used those special dice he's got. All right, gang, we're going to wrap this for tonight. Appreciate everybody popping on here and saying hey and joining in with us as we walk through that. If you didn't catch it, these things will be posted on both our channels where you can go through and look at what we did. And like I say, we're going to discuss what we're going to do with the next scenario we're playing. We both want to go live. We both think we're ready to do it live. but we will continue to co-op. So,
Yep. Yeah. And you can just think all the different ways you can see people playing it. Campaign solo, some guys playing opposed, and then us working together.
all right, we're out of here. Appreciate it, everybody. Talk to y'all soon.
See ya.
Thanks.